Okay, so the language of numbers is what I want to talk to you about. Now, first I need to make it really, really clear. I'm not a maths professor, and I'm not a maths teacher at all. I just have this amazing likability towards numbers. When I see numbers like this just appear on a page and look like random, I go, ooh, there's pi in the corner, right? And I don't know if you spotted it or not. But some of you may look at numbers and think, well, it's not quite how it should be. What's going on. It's kind of random in my mind. But when I look at something like this, what I see is I see structure and I see form and I see patterns, and I think they're absolutely amazing. This is probably one of our first introductions to numbers that we get when we're little, and I think it's amazing because it really brings the left and the right side of the brain together. You get the structure of the numbers, but you get the creativity of having to paint it all in, and I think that's amazing. Come on, change, thank you. Bringing me up to my current age here, the show Lost was absolutely full of numbers all the way through, and if you look carefully you can see the 6 numbers that were key to the whole 6 seasons. I've just realised there were 6 numbers and 6 seasons, so there's another link to numbers. And it was so brilliant to me, this show, because of the numbers, not because of the characters, not because of the plots, and not because of why they're on the island, but what were the numbers all about? And they threw these numbers all the way through the entire 6 seasons. For example, the 8:15 there was the flight that actually crashed on the island. Yeah. So any Lost fans here, just briefly? Yeah, great. So you know what I'm talking about. But also, you know, maybe it was influenced by this guy, you know, the prisoner, who came out there and said, you know, I'm not a number, I am a free man. You know, and I didn't care whether he was a free man. I just thought, no, this is number 6. You know, and that's who you are, and that's great, and that's a fantastic concept. And really, I don't want to know who you really, really are. Okay, I'm going to get a little bit technical now. These are called the abstract forms within mathematics, and we're going to start talking about I. I is an imaginary concept, and I think that's kind of freaky for mathematicians to say, you know, 2 + 2 = 4 and always equals 4, but actually I need to know the square root of -1. I really, really need to know the square root of -1, but I can't give it an actual number, so I'm going to call it a letter. So here's our man with 64 eyes on his T-shirt, using his imagination. But it's weird. Again, we're trying to bring creativity and logic together at the same time with this. 0. I'll give you a second to read it. The idea behind the 0 is I love 0 for 2 reasons. First of all, I don't know if you ever realised this, but what does 0 represent? It represents a void, it's emptiness, it's a vacuum, it's absolutely nothing whatsoever, but we have to represent it. And the Hindus understood that, and that's my second reason. The Hindus brought 0 to the world, and I'm proud of that. It's part of my culture. One small step for man, that's what that is. The number 1 is important because, of course, it's a unit. It's everything. We build everything upon the number 1. It's that concept that we need to have about unity. I explained to you about I being imaginary, okay? And not everyone's laughing at this. I thought this was hilarious when I saw it. Pi is irrational. Pi is irrational because the numbers after the decimal point never, never, ever repeat. Okay, this is the hard bit, right? You can fall asleep at this point if you want to. I'm going to explain what E is. E is 2.71828 and a few million more digits after that. But the thing about E, the best way to explain where it comes up in is in this concept that if you take a pound and give it to your bank manager, you have a really good bank manager, and he gives you 100% interest, you'll have £2 at the end of the year. Just here. But if you take your 100%, split it over 365 days and have it compounded interest instead of simple interest, you will get £2.71, 8.8, blah, blah, blah. But even if you go and have it compounded on an hourly basis, you'll never get bigger than £2.71. It will never go higher than that. And it just freaks me that you just can't get past that number. And that's what E represents in mathematics. Okay, that's as dry as it gets, folks. Now, numbers are with you everywhere you go, yeah? You can't get away from them, even if you were in that jumbled state when we said you were a kid, you had all those jumbled numbers going around your head. But these numbers are everywhere, and they're on your mobile phone and everything. But guys will get them on this one. There are some numbers you can never get. Yeah? No matter how hard you try. And believe you me, I've blown this up to 100 times before I gave it to you guys, and I still don't know what this girl's number is. So, it was very brave of me to say that with my wife in the audience, don't you think? Yes. Okay, The numbers, this is the Sacrament of Christ by Dali. And what he did here was he used something called the golden ratio. And those of you that have read Da Vinci Code will know all about golden ratio. But basically the width of this painting to the height is the golden ratio. It's about 1.6. And the way that you construct one, if you want to go in and get art and form and beauty within the things that you create, you need a rectangle that's made in that form. So take the red square, go halfway up the side, take a radius to the opposite corner, draw a circle and extend your square up to the circumference. You know how long it took me to get down to 15 seconds? Okay, so that's how you get a golden ratio. It's absolutely everywhere. It's in art, it's in literature, it's a wonderful, wonderful thing. It's been random, hasn't it? It's been random on purpose because numbers are random and they come at you from everywhere, yes? That's how my mind works. It jumps all over the place whenever I see numbers. It's the one time in my life I allow myself to destructuralize. So this is how I normally am with numbers. I like to put them in little boxes. All my life, I like to put them in little boxes and keep everything together. But it doesn't always go like that. Sometimes I do let myself go free, and I'm happy to talk about anything to do with numbers. I can even show you how 1 equals 2 if you really, really want to know. I'm that sad. And finally, I'm from the Punjab. Just thought I'd throw this in at the end. The place where I was born, it means 5 rivers, and maybe that's why I like numbers so much, because it was in the place where I was born. Thank you very much.